Alright guys, welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3. Alright, so this might be the last episode of this chapter. We will see. I really don't know if I'll be able to get through it all this week. I'm going to try and split this up into, multiple days, but if this last chapter is, 5 hours long, like the last chapter of Chapter 2, I don't know if it's going to be possible. God, this is loud. Let me click on this. Okay. Let's talk for a second. Let's try and figure this out, right? So, I've been thinking a lot about what is going on here, okay? And I feel like I need to take a step back from the crazy explanations that involve, weird timeline shit. Because I just don't think it's that at all. I don't think that's an explanation, right? This seems to me... I am essentially... What I'm saying here is I'm going all in on the explanation of... Mion and Rena and everyone are, covering for Keiichi. I think that is what is going on here, for sure, right? I haven't thought it through that much, because I feel like it's impossible to really get it all, down completely. But here are my thoughts, right? So, Mion and Rena knew what Keiichi was going to do, and yeah, ever since, especially with what Satoshi did, I think they could figure it out pretty easily, what Keiichi did and was going to do, right? So they knew that happened. They came up with all this shit. They convince everyone as much as possible that Keiichi was at the festival, try and, yeah, sure, to, cover for him, right? So he has an alibi, right? I feel like the only reason why Keiichi didn't immediately understand what they were doing is because he's, losing his mind anyway, right? Keiichi, because to me, when that scene started, when they started saying, oh yeah, Keiichi, we had such a fun time at the festival last night, it was my first immediate interpretation of it is that they were covering for him, right? And the only reason Keiichi didn't have that immediate reaction to that is because he's losing his mind, right? Is because he's just, and rightfully so after killing someone and going crazy, right? And there's also a whole bunch of other stuff, the fact that he's, I don't know, but I think it's just the only reason why that's not just the immediate obvious explanation is because of Keiichi's reaction to all of this, right? I feel like that's just the only explanation that makes sense, Because it makes sense why Mion and Rena and everyone would know what Keiichi did, right? Okay, so got that figured out, right? Maybe. Step 2, where did the body go, right? The bat was gone, the bat's gone, the body's gone, right? So since the bat is gone, I think it's pretty, again, if Keiichi didn't kill him, then what are we saying? That whole chapter was him hallucinating, or it wasn't him hallucinating, now he's in an alternate universe? That's just stupid. That doesn't make it, that's not gonna be the answer. Think about how unsatisfying of an answer to that this would be if Keiichi killed Teppei, and then he was actually secretly transported to a magical different universe, right? That's not gonna be what the explanation is. So no, he did kill him, the body's just gone now, right? So, how would the body be gone, right? Takano was there, right? Takano was there when he killed Teppei. Essentially right outside, right over there, Closest link I can think is Takano, right? Takano works at Erie Clinic. Who works at Erie Clinic? The director. Erie, right? The doctor. And he is someone who, because of the link with the syringe, because of the stuff that happened to the end of Onikashi, them calling him there, right? There's shit going on, right? Mion and Rena, well, maybe Mion only, I couldn't tell, I don't know the exact details of it. Seems like they, know stuff about what's going on with the stuff that makes you go crazy. That's what I think the syringe is, right? So in that sense, obviously, Dr. Iri, if he's the one who developed the syringe or something like that, then of course, right, he would also know what's going on, right? So he could be in the know with what happened as well. Takano could have told him, because Takano works there, right? And now, at that point, we're really getting into the weeds, and it's we're going into, these details that I just have no idea, this could have panned out any way at all, right? But I think they took the body and hid it somewhere, I guess. Either the body was taken and hidden somewhere, or there is weird ritualistic shit going on, and they wanted to throw the body into the swamp to quell Ishino-sama's anger, which would be fucking weird. But I guess it's possible. I don't know who I mean by they in that sentence, but someone, maybe? What else? I guess that's, really... And then, Satoko saying that Teppei's still around. This tip, right here, makes me think that this is an answer to that. I think Satoko has essentially... we have seen how much the abuse has affected her. I think I would not put it past her and the state that she's in to think that Teppei's there when he's not, right? Like let's look at this tip again, right? Like, I mean, she is literally like she's losing her mind, right? It's like horrible, it's awful, right? But like she's really, and especially the line at the end there, the thing about someone apologizing over and over again, right? I think Satoko is completely into the state of mind where, not that she's directly like hallucinating Teppei. Well, I mean, kinda, right? But like the idea that she is so affected by it that it's like it doesn't. The fact that he wasn't literally there, she still feels like he is. Something like that. You know what I mean? I guess you could say it is hallucination, but I don't know. I don't think her saying that Teppei is still there means he was still there. Essentially, is what I'm saying. Um. So yeah, the fuzziest part of this is definitely where did the body go? Um. Like who moved the body? How did they know where the body was exactly? The only person who I feel like could have known where the body was exactly is Takano, right? Because she was right there, you know. Because I mean, if it's not Takano, then I guess it could be any character who's just watching Keiichi from the bushes. But like, I mean, at that point, it's just that's impossible for me to know, right? It could be anyone. So I don't know. Okay. No, I think I got all that figured out. I think all this weird timeline shit, I think they're fucking with me. I don't think it's real. I mean, it's real, right? We know there were multiple timeline things going on, but I don't think that's actually part of what is happening here at all, right? Like, I think they knew what Keiichi was gonna do. They, as in, like, Mion and Runa and Dr. Eri and Takano, or at least Takano knew what Keiichi did after he did it and went and told Dr. Eri, something like that. So they knew what he was gonna do, and they are covering for him now, right? Because I mean, obviously they want Teppei to be dead, right? Like, I think Mion and Rena and Eri are certainly on team, yeah, let's kill Teppei, right? Like, I think maybe they're not on the team of killing Teppei because they didn't do it, right? But now that he's dead, I think they're fine with him being dead. And I think they would rather cover for Keiichi than have him fall into Uwishi's clutches, right? So, yeah, okay, good. Very, like, not exact. I know. The body is the weirdest thing. I don't know how to explain the body not being there. But like, all I can say is it has to be someone on the whole Dr. Eri team did something with the body because they knew what Keiichi did, right? And they hid it somewhere, right? Now the question you have to answer with that is like, why would they hide the body? How, like, is the place that Keiichi hid it not good enough? Did they somehow know that Keiichi was going to go back to it and be a lunatic? I mean, assumedly not, right? I don't know how they would know that, right? Which is what makes me think the whole thing with the swamp, if there is some weird ritualistic thing going on, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. Anything's possible, I guess. Because I don't think they're, like, gaslighting Keiichi and trying to make him think it didn't happen, right? Dr. Eri certainly wasn't acting like that. I think what Dr. Eri was saying to his co-workers at the hospital was just further, like, covering for Keiichi, essentially, right? Because Keiichi wasn't intended to hear that, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess it's possible that their goal was to make Keiichi think it didn't happen. But I don't know. I mean, that would really be something, right? But I guess if they know, if they're looking into this weird shit that's making people go crazy, right? So much so that Dr. Eri has literally developed this syringe vaccine thing that, like, cures it or does something, is supposed to cure it, who knows if it works or not, right? Then I wonder if Keiichi has almost become like a test subject in some sense, right? And they're trying, I don't know, like, it seems like to me they have a lot more information than we do about this whole thing, you know, so. Okay. Anyway, let's continue, shall we? The body wasn't there. The police didn't arrest me because of that, but I didn't know whether to feel happy about it. Just like Satoko had said, I'd failed to kill her uncle. The body wasn't there, so I was forced to conclude as much, no matter what strange natural disaster, coincidence, or miracle it might have implied. In order to free Satoko, I became a demon. And this abnormal world was my reward. Yes, metaphorically, I had fallen into the demon world. But if that price had been in exchange for the life of Satoko's uncle, then that would have been fine. Since Satoko's uncle was still alive, still shackling her to him, I needed to become a demon once again. And I guess everything I'm saying could just be completely disproven immediately if Teppei is actually still alive. At that point, obviously, it's like I just don't think it's going to go that way. I think Teppei is dead. I think he has to be dead. You know, I don't know. I think he's dead. I think he has to be. And I feel like The author hates me, so we aren't going to get any confirmation about whether or not he's dead. One more time. No, as many times as it took. Just kill him again. I would kill that man over and over again until Satoko was liberated. I had already awoken. I looked at the clock to see that it was early in the morning, at just about 5. It was already light outside. Once I'd hardened my resolve to become a demon again, I could feel my whole body teeming with awakened power once more. Time wasn't an issue. No matter what, I'd do it. I got myself up. The exhaustion from the past 2 days was completely swept away, and I didn't even feel sleepy anymore, either. I slowly rose and made sure my body was moving like I wanted it to. I could feel blood flowing through each and every one of my fingers. As I got dressed, I let my mind wander and had a strange thought. These 2 days, well, I've said it was for Satoko's sake. The only thing on my mind has been killing. I've said it was for Satoko, but while actually carrying out the act, I had completely forgotten about Satoko, albeit only temporarily. Maybe, initially, it was for Satoko's sake, but what you really wanted to do was return to the old days, right? It just goes back to that amazing scene with that speech that Rena gave him about, how the good days could end at any moment. He's unable to accept that, right? He's fighting back against the powerlessness of the situation. He's trying to reclaim, the ability to do anything, That's what it was really for, But now I was just a demon, killing for the sake of killing. And as a result, I'd sunk into a world fit for such a demon. Maybe it was the same for Satoshi. He resolved himself to kill his aunt to save Satoko, became a demon, then disappeared from the sunlit Hinamizawa, vanishing into the demon world. Which meant that, after all was said and done, I'd met the same fate as him. I don't know about that. I tried to avoid making the same mistakes, but it happened anyway. Which meant that maybe Satoshi was here. Oh, shit. Satoshi had come to this world a year before me, so he would be here somewhere. I don't know about that. Then, surprised, I stopped walking. The footsteps, huh? There's the second set of footsteps I'd grown so used to hearing. Oh, fuck. I don't think so. The empty, lifeless air wouldn't give me an answer. But I felt a strange kind of relief that there was someone there, that Satoshi had stuck with me the whole time. Let's go, Satoshi. Once more. This time, we were set Satoko free for sure. I quietly slipped out of the house so my parents wouldn't notice. If they caught me now, when I'd been out way too late for 2 days now, they'd give me a really angry talking to. I didn't have the time to allow for that to happen. Today, I would put an end to it. If the dead body disappeared, then I didn't have time to bury it. Then I didn't have to bury it. I could just burn it to ashes, and then take them with me, so I could kill him again every time he resurrected. So I was going to Satoko's house, we're just gonna, I don't know, break in, he's not gonna be there, though. He's not gonna be there. I'd do it again. I'd kill him again. And this time, I'd set her free. Outside, the morning light was so beautiful as to stagger belief. I went to the storage room to find weapons with which I could kill him for sure. Blunt or not, it didn't matter to me. Right now, I didn't need to care whether someone saw it or if the police came. I wonder what Dr. Iri was gonna do with him. Was he gonna give him the fucking syringe if he stayed? Maybe, because seeing the state that Keiichi's in now, I wish someone would fucking inject him. This world had gone crazy, after all. A world where I'd shown up at the festival and had fun, even though I wasn't there. Even if the police arrested me, I'd probably end up going right back home as if nothing had happened. Both me and the other Keiichi Maibara. Even without me, he'd fill in. I could vanish from Inamizawa without anyone noticing. So basically, I didn't care if I was mistakenly killed. Even if I died, Keiichi Maibara would remain. After all, this isn't the world I belong in. Man, I really wish he had gone to the fucking damn site with Rena and Mion, and they had gone through whatever they were going to go through, because I really feel like they were going to, I don't know, have a talk or something. Something important was going to happen, And I feel like that's why Rena was fine with him going to the doctor, because he was going to Dr. Iri, and that was... If I was going to be killed mistakenly for Satoko's sake, then that was just part of my duty as her Nini. As those desperate thoughts became serious, the morning air felt more refreshing to me, strangely enough. Also, all of this weird shit about him and the other Keiichi Maibara, it means stuff, right? It definitely means stuff in terms of, his weird, the way he views himself, right? And the way he views other people, this whole two versions of everyone thing. I just don't know what to say about it exactly. I don't know what read on it I should go with, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's obvious that now he's decided that, he isn't Keiichi Maebara anymore, essentially, right? Like, it's like, he feels like since he hasn't returned to the same world he was in before ever since killing Teppei, it's like he thinks there's this magical other universe where things actually went on the way he wanted it to, you know? Because he thinks the world that he's in now isn't the one where he killed Teppei, right? So it's like, he's going on about this other Keiichi Maebara. It's almost like this other Keiichi Maebara is the one who, actually got to continue living those happy days he wanted to return to so badly, you know? Of course, that's different from his weird thing about, like, other versions of people, you know, another version of himself, right? In his thoughts, so often he talks to himself in, like, third person, calling himself Keiichi Maebara. And I think it's, like, this weird, like, disassociation thing, but I don't know how to apply it to this. Ooh, what do we got? It was a hatchet meant for chopping thick firewood. Oh, we're taking Rena's weapon this time, huh? Its hefty steel blade was sinister, almost as though it was a tool meant for killing people. I couldn't exactly take it out in public like that, so I wrapped it a little in some old newspaper and tossed it into the basket on my bike. Oh, his bike? Oh, sure. I apologized to my bike for some reason. For the past 3 days, I've only used it for dangerous things. I've been riding this bike ever since I lived in my old town. Oh, it's like part of, yeah. I could walk most places I wanted to go, so I hadn't used it all that much. My mom had bought it for me when I entered cram school, thinking it would be a convenient way to get to the station, since it was far away. So I'd always used it to get back and forth from cram school. I'd only ever put textbooks and class materials in the front basket, too. I'd never tried to put a hatchet that I'd be using to kill someone in there. When I came to Hinamizawa, life finally felt fun. I met the best friends ever and had some of the greatest times ever. Those times might have been shattered now, but it was my greatest wish that I could get them back, even if I had to risk my life to do it. Yeah, that's how those fun times had been. That's how fun those times had been. I killed someone, and now I was at it again, needing to kill someone. Murder was a crime. I didn't believe that people should ever think murder was okay, but still, the times I'd had were enjoyable enough for me to commit such a crime. My friends were irreplaceable, and the time spent with them a treasure. It's interesting, right? Like, it's really just not about Satoko. You know what I mean? He is not thinking about how it's excusable for Satoko's sake at all, you know? Because that's the only, like, excuse or, like, reasoning, only justification I can come up with it that, like, makes sense for why I could say it's, like, fine that Teppei's dead, you know, why it's fine to kill Teppei. Is because he's an evil, abusive piece of shit towards Satoko, you know? But Keiichi's not even thinking about that, right? Like, sure, part of those times that he wants back is Satoko not being tortured every day, right? But that's not the focus. The focus is he wants to return to the days that he enjoyed, you know? He's not thinking about Satoko at all. Satoko is just a means to the end, right? Returning Satoko to the way she was before, right? Hanging out, laughing, sometimes tricking each other, but always in a friendly way. I didn't fear committing any crime, as long as it was for the sake of taking back those times that gave my heart so much pleasure. Yes, this was a value I decided to uphold. It wasn't something I learned from a school teacher. It was a noble path that I chose for myself. I thought back to when I'd first come to Hinamizawa. Oh, on the very first day, Satoko had welcomed me with a blackboard eraser with a rock in it. That welcome really surprised the heck out of me. She would laugh, get angry, cry. She was never boring. She was obviously the most childlike one among us, but she was actually lively, full of vim and vigor, and good at meddling in other people's business. I love Satoko. That went for Mion, Rina, and Rika-chan too. Wasn't Satoko the one at the center of everyone's laughing and banter? Satoko would try to look cool. Then Mion would make fun of her endlessly. Then Satoko would cry, which would put Rina in a state of ecstasy. And she would beat us up. Then Satoko would... Oh, Rika-chan would be greatly delighted. Yeah, literally. And I happened to get mixed up in it. We would always fool around like that. It was lonely when someone wasn't around, but if I had to name one for whom it was the worst, it would have been Satoko. What about you, Keiichi? I don't know, thinking in Onikakushi when you started abandoning them. That made it pretty bad too. Her smile was everyone's smile. Ever since she stopped smiling, so did the rest of us. And for the rest of us, not smiling was the same as dying. It was just like when I was silently going to cram school every day, just to maintain my unchanging test scores. So basically, we were nothing when she wasn't smiling. She was full of hot air, but she was our princess, cute and unhateable. In that case, I was her knight, searching for the dragon's castle in order to win her smile back. Oh, man. Huh. I guess, yeah. If they really think Satoko in that way, if Satoko to him really is completely representative of those happy days in the first place, then that makes sense, right? Sure. Yeah, I guess. Then I saw an old person in the ridge of a field waving to me. What are you doing with a hatchet, buddy? I reflexively waved back in a refreshing way. Should I really have been feeling so happy, waving like that? Satoko's house would be right past this road, going beyond the rice paddies. Oh. The cicadas had woken up too, and the next thing I knew, I was the audience to their daily chorus. Sorry, my recording stopped, I gotta reread that. I gave myself a hit or two on the head, and drove away my merry morning mood. I took a deep breath and tilted my head back, quelling my pointless excitement. The body wasn't there. Its absence either meant my killing him had been an illusion, or that I'd killed him and he'd risen from the dead. Okay, no, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. Like, it does not mean that literally at all. There was another option there. So, we discussed that at length already. If I was at the festival, then maybe I should have considered it an illusion. Coach probably thought that way, which is why he treated me like a lunatic. No, because I think he knows what's going on. But it being an illusion was just impossible. I killed him without a doubt. Without a doubt. If that had been an illusion, then that would make all of this Hinamizawa I was in right now an illusion. If that was the case, then here's how it would end up. I was actually in a vegetative state due to a traffic accident, and I was currently dreaming in a hospital bed about how great it would be to spend time with friends and rice paddies like these. Yeah, so what's actually going on. Okay, here's what's actually happening here, right? This whole story has been post the end of Chapter 2, and when zombie Mion arose from the dead and started beating Keiichi to death, she just knocked him out, and then he's just been hallucinating this whole time in his head. That's what's going on here. I figured it out. That's crazy. Wow, that was easy. That was a terrifying thought, though. If this wasn't an illusion, then the only possible answer is that he'd resurrected. No, it's not. No, Keiichi, no, it's not. No. It's like he's so against the idea of anyone. He literally can't even comprehend the idea of them knowing what he did. You know, like it would make him a literal monster. But if he was such a monster, then I was no less than a monster myself. I didn't hesitate to kill someone, and I could even wield curses. Takano-san had died probably because I'd cursed her. Or maybe that was a little much. If Coach and Oishi died too, like I'd cursed them to yesterday, then I'd believe it. Sure, I guess, if they... I'll keep that in mind, I suppose. I mean, even then, it's like... Well, let's say the director and Oishi both do die. And, like... I guess, but I don't think that's what it means at all. Fuck, we're here. I set my bicycle aside and went to take a look. God damn it. His motorbike wasn't here. Of course it wasn't. No, we're just not going to get confirmation. We're just not going to get confirmation at all. No, we're not going to get confirmation. He's going to go inside. Satoko is going to say that he's just out doing something, you know. Because she's fucking... you know. So I sent it down to hell that night, throwing it into the Onigashiji swamp. Or maybe... Just like how the corpse wasn't there. Maybe the motorbike didn't get thrown into the swamp either, but the bat was gone, right? The fact his bike wasn't there, here, might have been because he had gone to town and hadn't come back. Not necessarily because I'd thrown it into the swamp. If her uncle wasn't around, then that was convenient on its own. Then I would just show myself in, then wait for him to return, sharpening my hatchet. If he was there. Forgotten sensations came back to my gut. A feeling of tension arose within me. The sensation was like poison, dulling my actions, but it could also be the trigger to allow me to awaken to my superhuman, otherworldly self. I held the hatchet, still wrapped in newspaper. Its weight in my hands was profound, sinister, and reliable. I hadn't put on my watch, so I didn't know what time it was, but it was probably still a little before 7. Satoko would probably be awake, preparing breakfast and her lunch, but her uncle would probably still be lazing around in bed. A guy like him probably would have stayed up late drinking, and probably always slept until noon. Yeah, if it's a little before 7, there's no way her uncle is gone already, right? Like, the motorcycle, yeah. I considered ringing the doorbell and having Satoko open the door for me, but if her uncle woke up at the sound, I'd waste my chance of him still being asleep. Oh, God. If Sadako saw me sneaking inside without ringing the doorbell, she'd be surprised. If I ran into her, what would I say? I've come to kill your uncle for you, so stay quiet. No, I couldn't do that. That would be like making Sadako responsible for his death. Be quiet and go wait outside. Maybe that would do it. How would Sadako react to that? Not well. She would probably try and get me to give up on killing him. I would have to lie somehow to get her to go outside. Sadako didn't need to know that a murder was going to occur in this house. I couldn't quite think of a good lie to tell her, but I couldn't do much just standing around like this. I made up my mind and grabbed the doorknob. Fuck. Then slowly turned it. What is it gonna be like inside? And pulled. It wasn't locked. The gap between the door and the wall steadily grew larger. The chain wasn't even on. The oppressive smell of life in Sadako's house hit me. Probably smells like alcohol. At the entrance, there were a few pairs of shoes and sandals. I couldn't tell whether he was here or not just by looking at them. I could hear a television on somewhere. Fuck, man. Yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? The television was in the messy dining room. There was food scattered about the table, giving an impression decidedly different from a happy family's mealtime. Meals were for eating food while thanking the person for making it. I don't think he thanks Satoko too much. Meaning whatever occurred in this dining room wasn't a meal. Nobody in sight. No sign of anyone, either. But with the television on, he must have been close. Well, maybe. Could he have anticipated my coming and be hiding, waiting for me? The tension I felt was so thick, so tight, that I thought it would choke me. The newspaper wrapping the hatchet's thick blade didn't hamper its power at all. I tightened my grip on it, then, very carefully, took a look around. Where had those peaceful feelings from before I arrived here gone? Even the sound of sweat bubbling up on my brow got on my nerves. And then, I looked at the table and realized something. This wasn't breakfast. The grains of boiled rice were all hard and dried up. Then, was it last night's dinner? No, it's because he's fucking dead. It's because he hasn't been here for days, because he's fucking dead. No, he's dead. He's dead. No, okay, no. We're good. He's dead. We're fine. Okay. No, we got it all figured out. I left the dining room, keeping vigilant, went down the hallway, and found the stairs to the second floor. When that man was playing with his friends, he looked out of a second-story window. It was highly possible that room was his own, and that he slept there. I tiptoed up the edges of the stairs, quietly climbing, without making a sound. I couldn't hear any kind of snoring. I didn't hear anything up there. I am terrified about the state he's going to find Satoko in. I went through a few rooms, slowly and quietly opening the paper doors, checking inside, but I still couldn't find anyone around. To search more efficiently, I got down on the floor and pressed my ear right up to it. I could hear the television in the dining room, and a low hum, perhaps of boiling water. Okay, it was then that I started to harbor some feelings of suspicion. This house wasn't right. Doesn't feel very lived in, does it? It seemed like people had been here since the TV was on, but it wasn't normal for nobody to be around this early in the morning. I mean, he could have just left the TV, like, after he called him on that night, he could have just left immediately. It didn't even turn the TV off. Like, I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? I silently descended the stairs and went back into the dining room. I looked at the food scattered about. Completely dried up rice, an overturned bowl of miso soup, the package for a side dish bought at the supermarket. I could tell Satoko had definitely been the one who made this. The food was far from Mion's perfection or Rena's gentleness, but it was sincere. Judging by how she cooked for me at my house, and from the type and amount of side dishes, I deduced the meal was from last night. The number stamped into the food package read 830620. Sure. June 20th, 1983. That was yesterday. And there was food for two, which meant that this was last night's dinner, and Sadako's uncle would have been here then. Or she made him dinner because she thought he was going to be back, or she literally just, like, in her crazy, tortured mind, she thought she, was just going through the motions of what she thinks she has to do to not get horribly abused, Like, kind of makes sense to me she would still make dinner for him, even if he's not here, Because, of course, if he just randomly showed up, he would fucking kill her if she didn't have dinner ready for him, I'm sure, Stop it, Keiichi. Don't even think about saying the word impossible again. Anyway, her uncle was here last night. That much was the truth. He had found fault with Sadako's food, thrown the bowl of miso soup, and flung the rest everywhere. Hidden deep within my feelings of calm and composure was lit a flame of anger and a curse. Should I have ever shown this man any mercy? Bump. I heard the sound again, the one from before, like a water boiler. What is it? What was it coming from? The first floor? But where? I mean, it's something Satoko doing? The bathroom, maybe? I could hear the noise coming from the other side of the frosted glass at the far end of the changing room. It had to have been the sound of the water boiler for the bath. Is it Satoko taking a bath, like from that tip? Steam was enshrouding the glass door, and the heat from it was leaking into the changing room where I was standing too. My misgivings deepened. People didn't normally take a bath this early in the morning. Okay, I just thought of something real bad. I just don't even want to say it, but it's like, people who, I don't know how I didn't think of this. I mean, I kind of thought of it when I was reading the tip too, but people who go through, abuse, like Satoko, especially, like, sexual abuse, one of the things that, like, is said that they do a lot is they, like, obsessively end up bathing all the time because they feel like they aren't, like, clean, you know? They feel like it's just something they have to do, you know? Of course, I mean, it seems like it was her uncle who was, like, getting her to do it, to go bathe all the time over and over again. So maybe there's more influence from it than just that, but that's really... I don't know. Then it would mean that in this house, time had been stopped ever since some moment last night. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Was it being reheated? I mean, obviously, there's more implications for sure that you can think of from that tip that I just don't even want to talk about. But the water heater and the water boiler in the bathroom had been active this whole time. I checked in the clothing basket and saw Satoko's familiar uniform stuffed in it. The uniform had stains and dried rice stuck to it, clearly not something she could wear today. It was probably from the miso soup at the dinner table yesterday. Oh, so I looked hard at the frosted glass, but I couldn't see anything through all the steam. And then, an electric surge ran through my mind, and a terrible premonition came over me. She couldn't possibly have been in there since last night. That would be okay. That, I certainly fucking hope not, right? I mean, she certainly seems to be in the mental state to be doing that, right? Like, I could really imagine it, you know, that I could imagine she wants her uncle to be here because she thinks it's part of this trial she has to go through for Satoshi to come back, right? So, like, what? Does she think she's not living up to, like, what he needs her to do, what he wants her to do? You know what I mean? Like, so she's obsessively bathing like this because she, you know, if her uncle yells at her all the time to go take a bath, then... So what, she thinks she isn't bathing enough or something, right? Like, I mean, it could be anything in her head going on to, you know... But no. In Hinamizawa right now, nothing was impossible. I gulped audibly, then quietly pulled aside the glass door. Hot, steaming air burst out of the slight opening. I mean, it's so fucking hot, it seems, too. The fan wasn't on in the changing room, so it went completely white with the steam. Just as the hot vapor poured into the changing room, cooler air also flowed into the room with the bath. And I just heard, due to being hyped by that hot air, a very weak moan. That was all I needed to know who it was. What, is she just, like, passed out in there? I mean... No answer. Fuck. Satoko was in the bathtub, surrounded by a thick layer of rising steam. The top half of her body was leaning over the edge of the tub, and she was passed out. The water boiler kept on making a whistling noise, as if angered. I could see the gas flame through a small window. It was roaring at full force, completely blue. Satoko's entire body was boiled red and flaccid, as though her bones had melted away. Awesome, awesome, great, cool. She was almost like a doll, as she laid there unconscious. I wasn't sure how many seconds passed as I stared at complete bafflement. You gotta get her out of there, please, right? I came back to my senses and promptly shut off the boiler. Then, I dragged Satoko's small body out of the bathtub. How hot was it? Just, like, max heat? Like, the water in it was as hot as the water in public baths. Was she in this boiling water for the entire night? She'll die. Satoko's body was lighter than I'd expected as I laid her on the floor and wrapped her in a towel. I went back into the bathroom and opened up the vent, creating a path for cool breeze to come through. I call 911, like please, right? I guess it's not 911 in Japan, but upon the breeze hitting her, Satoko moaned again. Fuck. Because no, I can think of so many reasons why she did this, right? Like, oh my god. Okay, she's not dead. Satoko recognized me and muttered a response, but I couldn't really tell what she was saying. Her eyes were muddy and unfocused. I could tell she wasn't completely unconscious. Upon closer inspection, her limbs and waist were twitching slightly. This was way worse than normal overheating. This was dangerous. Didn't they call this heat stroke? Think, what would the teacher do if a girl passed out in the middle of summer, during a marathon in gym class or something? Call an ambulance! Please, like, surely Hinamizawa got something like that. I turned the water faucet in the kitchen all the way on and soaked a towel in it. I then took the cold towel and pressed it to Satoko's forehead. Satoko reacted harshly to the coldness and let out a muffled voice. For burns, right, you would soak the burn spot under running water. I mean, is her entire body literally burned? Like, I mean, then I could run cold water in the shower and cool her off like that? No, if it was that sudden, it wouldn't be good for her heart, and she'd go into shock. I think I read that once before. This was about as much nursing as I could possibly give her. I go to the clinic! Do something! Anything more than this would be too much for the likes of an amateur. She got in by herself, I think. I don't know if you should say that right now. Like what? Did her fucking Teppei tell her to get in and count to like some ridiculous high number before she can get out? What was Satoko reciting under her breath? I brought my ear to her mouth to better make out the mysterious spell-like words she kept saying. At that moment, I understood what they were for. People tell little kids in the bath to count to 100 a lot, right? Satoko was counting like that. But 5,039? Yeah. Yeah, great. Awesome. Good. Cool. Right. I doubted my ears, and doubted her common sense. Well, yeah, she's fucking... 10,000? Fuck. Yeah. Last night, her uncle flew into a rage at the dinner she'd made, saying it stunk and was inedible. Satoko didn't understand what on earth he meant. It wasn't much different than what she usually made for him. Maybe he hated the smell of the pickled vegetables she brought in particular. Her uncle then decided the stink was originally from Satoko and shouted at her that she never ever took baths. And then, he put Satoko in the boiling water and told her not to come out until she counted to 10,000. Yeah. And what I think is even worse is I don't think her uncle is around anymore. I think this is just the effects of what he has done to her, right? Like, I mean, I assume he's done something like this to her several times, right? If anything, I could imagine in her mind she's ramping it up and making it worse, right? Because she thinks if her uncle is gone, then that means she failed the trial and Sachi isn't coming back, right? So if anything, it's like she thinks now she has to make it even worse on herself, right? And like, I snapped and exploded. Raising the newspaper-wrapped hatchet, I stampeded through the house. He's not here. I searched for anything. Traces, signs, smells, vibrations, heartbeats. No, the worst part is Keiichi already did it. Teppei's already dead. Keiichi already killed Teppei, right? And Satoko isn't just magically back to normal. She's never just gonna magically be back to normal, right? Like, he wanted so badly, he thought he could just kill Teppei, everything would just be fine and great immediately, you know? But that was never going to happen. That was impossible, right? And Satoko right now is obvious proof of that, right? Things were never going to go back to normal with Teppei gone. Satoko's not any better off at all with Teppei gone now, right? Like, she's still just as badly affected by his abuse, you know what I mean? Like, I guess he can't make things literally worse because he's dead, but it's not like she's just magically fixed, right? She was never going to be magically fixed. It's... And like what's that gonna do to Keiichi, right? Like the powerlessness that Keiichi felt. So what? He killed Teppei. He did the only thing he thought was gonna reclaim his power in this situation, to do something about it. And it didn't work, right? He hasn't magically fixed this situation for Satoko, you know. I guess by standards that like matter, right? Satoko's situation is better than it was before, right? She's not literally being abused by Teppei. But it's going to take a whole lot of work to ever get her back to the way she was before, you know? That's never going to happen, you know what I mean? So, like, if Keiichi comes to the realization that Teppei's already dead now, I don't think he will, then, like, what would his reaction to this be now, you know? I just, because now he's truly powerless in this situation, right? There's nothing he can do for Satoko if she truly is just broken by Teppei like this now, you know? I mean, obviously, through a lot of hard work and, like, therapy and shit, Satoko can, you know, improve, right? She's not ruined as a person forever, right? But it was never going to be as easy as Keiichi wanted it to be, right? With a war cry, I raced up the stairs with such force, I could have stomped a hole through them. Then I found the futon in his room I thought to be your uncle's. And well aware he wasn't sleeping in it, I bashed it with the hatchet. Did he run into the closet? I'll bust the entire closet down, door and all. You need to fucking help Satoko. You need to help Satoko. Please. If he's not there, then maybe there's a second door. Any switches or levers in the walls here? Smashing into wall after wall with the hatchet, crushing them. Dust rose into the air, and broken pieces scattered about the floor. I smashed all the glass windows, too, for good measure. Reminds you of something, huh? Yeah. And there's nothing we can do, because he's already dead. After I destroyed everything beyond recognition in her uncle's room, my reason finally kicked in and suppressed my emotions. Anyway, her uncle wasn't in the house right now. I'd have to leave killing him until later. Right now, I had to do something about Satoko. Please, please. I went back to the changing room. Satoko was still lying limp on the floor. There's nothing more an amateur like me could do for her. I needed to take her to the clinic. Coach had treated me like a lunatic yesterday and tried to lock me up in a mental hospital. Satoko is a lot more important than that. I never wanted to see his damn face again, but I still needed to go to the infirmary one more time. I needed to have a doctor look at Satoko. I thought about putting her in the dirty uniform lying in the laundry basket, but I had no experience dressing someone, so it would be pretty difficult. Shit, I didn't have time to be wasting here. I eventually gave up on clothing her and decided to carry her in a bath towel. The clinic was close to Satoko's house. It would be way faster to carry her there than to call 119 and get an ambulance. I wonder what the number actually is. That's like a weird translation, I assume. I threw the biggest towel I could find over her and prompted her to stand. Oh, is she gonna fight? Is she gonna say no? That she doesn't want help? Okay. Thank God. Oh, Nisama. Her words sounded clearer than before. She was starting to come back. I cried tears of relief just knowing she'd improved even a little bit. Satoko turned over so she was lying on her face, and then put up a weak struggle to get up on a knee. I smoothly swept her up and put her on my back. The towel I put on her seemed like it was about to fall off. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Yeah. Fuck. It didn't hurt one bit to carry Satoko. She was light, too light. The lightness actually made me uneasy. Outside it had gotten hotter, as though eager to attack Satoko. Fucking cicadas. Why did I have to choose this morning to get so hot out? I didn't have time to swear at them. The clinic was this way. How far away is it? Hoisting Satoko on my back, I broke into a trot. Fuck. 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 Dude, holy fuck. God, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. Like... No, and that's the thing for me too, is right, we already got to see Teppei get murdered horribly. And it didn't even help. It's not like it mattered, right? Like, yeah, he's dead, but it just doesn't help, right? Maybe that's the point, right? Is that killing him didn't do anything, right? It's like this retributive justice that we seeked so much. It's like the joy you could get out of Teppei's death. It doesn't even help, because what he did wasn't undone, you know? And it's like, all it really did was fucking Keiichi's now damaged beyond repair as well, you know? Like, Keiichi's lost his fucking mind too, right? But it's like, it feels like what drove us to this point, it's like, what was our other option, you know what I mean? Like, what were we gonna do, other than what we did to Teppei, right? But again, it's like, it didn't even help, right? Like, yeah, Teppei's dead, he can't hurt Satoko further, but what he's already done to her isn't gonna be undone, you know? It just feels like something had to be done so long ago, right? It feels like the system failed her long ago, right? It's like we were already past the point of failure, you know? I mean, we kind of brought that up already, that it's like she was already broken in the meantime, right? That we were already past the point of her breaking. But like, I mean, I don't know. It fucking sucks. Fuck. God, it just sucks. Because, like, what could we have done? What should we have done, right? And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe it's like Runa said, right? Like, a fucking volcano could destroy Hinamizawa and there's nothing we could do, right? Teppei was the volcano, right? He showed up. We were all in a position where we couldn't stop him. You can't stop all evil before it happens, right? Maybe it's true that there was nothing we could do, right? And going out of your way like Keiichi did to do this extreme thing, it didn't help. And all it did was hurt him as well, right? Like, and maybe that's the point. Maybe that's just the horrible fucking thing we have to deal with, you know? Like, that the damage of what Teppei did is still there. We can't fix that, you know? Killing someone isn't gonna fix it, right? Like, I mean... The hilly road to the clinic, with which I had never had difficulties before, was now torturous. Big beads of sweat formed on my brow, and at some point, my breath had grown faint. The hatchet in my belt was heavy and made it hard to walk. Just drop it. I considered leaving it, but I couldn't let it go. At least not while Satoko's uncle was still breathing. The signboard for Erie Clinic came into sight, but I quickly noticed something was odd, so I stopped. Is it fucking closed because of Takano's murder? Several red revolving lights were flashing at the clinic. 3 police cars were parked in the parking lot with their lights on. There didn't need to be much else to inform me something had happened. I didn't want to see Coach, so I had planned to leave Satoko in the clinic waiting room and give the receptionist a message. But, with that police officer Uishi here, I couldn't go inside so carelessly. Oh, fuck. 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 I don't know, girl. It must be because of Takano's murder, I assume, right? I mean, well, maybe not. I guess it's not like Takano's body was found here, right? And I don't think they're all here because of Keiichi. I gently put Satoko down in the shade of the thicket. Fuck. Man. Oh my god. Yeah, that's still Satoko, right? I mean, she's still there. I hope so. I'll be right back, I added, getting to my feet. Cautious of my surroundings, I hid myself behind a car and got closer to the officers grouped at the clinic's entrance. I overheard an officer wearing a necktie, probably their leader, and a white-robed doctor having a discussion about something. The doctor didn't seem to be Coach. It was one of those who Coach told to make the tea yesterday. I mean, what, someone else dead? Not Teppei's body, right? Okay. Eerie? Or... Okay, no, for a second, no, okay.
高熱と瞳孔の拡大に重度の意識障害も見られました。睡眠薬中毒の典型的な重症例だと思いましたので、直ちに対応に入りました。
It must be Eerie, right? I mean, because we're saying on his desk, right?
警察も救急も呼ばずに
Well, he's already here, yeah.
病院で私は医師です。生命が危険な状態にあるなら、直ちに。ああ、まあいいからいいから。それで
So what? Eerie's dead. Is that what we're saying? Eerie's dead. That's not good. That's not good, is it? I mean, why would Eerie kill himself? Right? What are we talking about?
合わせて呼吸刺激薬を投与。効果が出なかったので、人工呼吸器の準備をし。ああ、はいはい。それでつまり
Yeah, he's dead. Wow. Okay, Eerie is fucking dead. Okay. Just then, a radio in one of the police cars started to buzz, producing a broken mechanical force. I just don't even know what to think. This is just such a curveball. I just have no idea what to think. Okay, Eerie's dead. Keiichi was talking about if the people he cursed are dead, and I'm like, but Eerie's dead. Like, what is that? What are we talking? Why would Eerie kill himself, right? Or did he? Or was this like a staged suicide, right? Made it look like he killed himself? But who and why and what and how? Why would he kill himself, right? If he did. But no, it could so easily be staged. It could be someone else wants him dead, right? Why the fuck is he dead? I have no fucking idea, right? It's not like he would kill himself because of Keiichi escaping. That would be fucking crazy. Why the fuck would he do that, right? Okay, I have no idea what to think. Now, let me read this one more time. A jug and an empty bottle of sleep medication on his desk. So, I mean, it just, that to me, it just seems like it's like a staged suicide, right? But I just don't know. I just don't know, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be a staged suicide, but that seems like an obvious explanation, right? Like, obviously, if they immediately point us to this, there's a very convenient jug and an empty bottle of sleep medication on his desk. That's like staged suicide 101, right?
小宮山さん、聞こえますか？どうぞ。もしもし、小宮山です。ああ、お疲れ様です。睡眠薬での自殺みたいですね。遺書の類。
Wow. Suicide? What the heck were they talking about? Someone had committed suicide at the clinic. But who? Eerie. I wish Takano-san dead, and she died the next day. Yeah. And yesterday, I wish Coach was dead, except I don't think Takano's dead. I think Takano faked her death. I don't think Eerie can do the same thing. I mean, this is definitely Eerie's body, right? Because Takano, the only reason I think it's possible for Takano to have faked her death is because the body was burned beyond recognition. The only way they were able to identify who it was with the dental records. And the dental records could be, like, what, compromised? Something like that, right? The dentist could just be in on it. Who knows, right? This is just his body, right? He must be dead. Then, could he have...
普段から睡眠薬を常用していたとかはあまり知りません。日頃疲れたとか死にたいとかそんなこと言ってました。
I mean, obviously, the other thing with the sleep medication, he was gonna use some kind of sleeping medication on Keiichi, right? Or that's what he was saying, right? So... I just don't know. I just don't know.
入江先生は普段からああいう性格でしたから。とてもそんな風には。
So, I was right. Irie-sensei. They were talking about Coach. Coach killed himself. Why would he do that? There couldn't have been any reason he wanted to die. The only reason that came to mind was that I wanted him dead. I mean, it's not that, but this world was insane. If I wanted someone dead, they'd die. That was the kind of world this was. If Oishi's dead too, it's just... That still doesn't mean anything, right? That still doesn't mean anything, even if Oishi's dead too. But then, what about Oishi? It's literally... What happened to him? If people really died because I wanted them to, then something should have happened to him too. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Okay, Oishi's dead too. Alright, Oishi's dead too. Great, awesome. God damn it. The officers nodded and split up into the patrol cars. Did they just say, searching for Oishi's car? Oh, god damn it, what the fuck. Searching for his car. That meant he had gone missing? Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi. When I wished for it, the very next day, they disappeared. No matter how angry you were when he said he wished someone was dead, it didn't normally happen. Everyone knew just wishing for it wouldn't make them dead, and that's why people could utter such curses so lightly. But the curses I uttered were being granted. At the time, I hadn't even been walking, and yet... Tap. I heard a footstep. Fuck. And it wasn't only one this time. Tap, tap. They came from behind. It could be actually someone walking up to you from behind. And they stood right behind me, reaching a hand for my shoulder. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, god. Sadako's not in very good hands right now with Keiichi losing his fucking mind. It was Satoko. Her eyes were still unstable, unfocused, but she seemed to be at least to walk on her own right now. I'm hoping she's not actually, like, burned, right? And her, like, I hope it's not that bad, right? And she's able to, I don't know, be fine. She looked far better now compared to her earlier exhausted state. She needs to eat something. Sure. She gave a smile, a show of courage, but her legs were still shaky. She needs to see a fucking doctor still. I mean, bring her inside still. Bring her inside still, please. Oh, she heard it too? Fuck. Fuck. And think about for Satoko, like... Oh my god. Yeah. Satoko was at a loss for words. Her face grew paler and paler, and I could tell she was doubting her own ears. Yeah.
何かの聞き間違いじゃないんですの？
確かにそう聞いたよ。入江先生が睡眠
Oh,
薬で
fuck.
自殺したって。
Satoko. Satoko went down on her knees and broke out in tears.
嘘。
Oh my god.
嘘ですわ。監督が
Yeah.
自殺なんて、そんなの絶対に。
Why? I mean, why? Why? I just don't understand why. Something about Tepe being dead? I just don't understand why. Why? Right? No, it has to be a staged suicide, right? Someone who wanted him dead. I feel like it has to be, right? I just don't. Because why would he do this? You know, it doesn't make any sense. He wouldn't do this. Not now. Not ever, right? As I watched Satoko crying and clawing at the grass, I felt myself trapped by guilt and remorse. I got so angry that Coach was treating me like a madman yesterday, that he'd betrayed me, that I thought he'd be better off dead. But even Coach, who, to me, deserved to die, still must have had people who loved and respected him. You loved and respected him until yesterday, when you decided he, you know, like Satoko here. In my selfish, egotistical anger, I wished for his death, and it was granted. And now Satoko was crying hysterically as a result. The guilt tore at my heart. I worked myself up to murder for Satoko's sake. I decided I wanted Satoko to be happy. But was that really all it took? Murder meant taking someone's life. It meant making everyone attached to that person sad. And in Satoko's uncle's case, of course, nobody would be sad, yeah. It still affects you, so I didn't feel a sense of guilt at all. But Coach's death was different. I had wanted to make Satoko happy, and that had resulted in me inflicting a deep sadness upon her, hadn't it? But Coach killed himself. It wasn't my... Fuck. Satoko still hadn't stopped crying, but she seemed to be a little calmer now. Wiping her tears, she stood up.
すまない。
Fuck. And the only thing I could think of to say to her was an apology.
どうして謝りますの？
昨日監督とその喧嘩して。
Oh, don't try and explain yourself like
お前
this.
なんか死んじまえ。
Fuck.
呪ったんだ。呪ったから本当に死んじゃって。
Satoko looked at me dubiously for a few moments. Eventually, her expression softened as she interpreted my words in her own way.
圭一さんのせいではあり
Yeah,
ま
no,
せん。
she's not gonna think it's your fault. Like,
監督も大人ですもの。
God, she's such a strong person. It's crazy how strong of a person Satoko is, right? It's actually insane. Like, God, that she's able to console Keiichi in a moment like this, right? When she... Oh my god.
自分の命を捨てるに値する都合があって悩んだ末に選んだんです
I felt like there was something he had to give his life for. Is that really... I don't know. Is that something Satoko's just telling herself? Right? Because it's... I mean, obviously that's something that's easy to, like, to tell yourself in a situation like this, right? Because suicide always feels so pointless and so meaningless, you know what I mean? That's like... That it would always be better off for them to have not done it, of course, right? Especially with no message like this, you know? So it's like, obviously, she's gonna want to say... She's gonna want an explanation like this, you know? But... I don't know. I'm just writing something down. I don't know, like... I don't know. Because I don't think Satoko would actually have an idea of what he would want to give his life for, right? Because it seems so pointless, right? What would... Eri being dead, what would that help? You know?
せいでもありませんわ。
And I mean, and obviously, anyone, someone in Satoko's position, I think she's probably in a pretty good position to understand suicide, right? I imagine it's something that has probably crossed her mind, right? She smiled a little, trying to comfort me.
いつまでもこのままでいたくありませんわ。服が欲しい。
Yeah.
いいのかよ。診療所に行って見てもらった方が。
No, she's gonna refuse help.
服を着てから見てもらっても別に死にはしませんわ。
Okay. Satoko readjusted her bath towel and started back along the path. Her stride was wobbly, and it didn't look like she'd recovered as much as she let on. At first, Satoko tried to go back home, but it was the time of the morning when people were going to school and work, so after seeing people walking around, she thought better of it. She must have been pretty embarrassed wearing only the towel.
理科のうちに行きますわよ。
Okay, sure.
私の服あるはずですから。
Maybe you should just stay there
ど
from
うし
now
たん
on.
ですの圭一さん。
Satoko noticed that I was hanging my head and spoke to me.
監督はああ見えても大人ですのよ。圭一さんと喧嘩したくらいで自殺するよう
Yeah,
な
it's
人ではあ
not
り
your
ませんわ。
fault, Keiichi, obviously. God, Sadako is such an amazing person.
自分を責めるのをおやしなさいませ。
Because she's had to deal with stuff like this too, like Satosh's disappearance, you know? I mean, how much loss she's faced in her life, you know? At first I thought it was a coincidence. Well, no, I mean, and the fucking sad thing about that is she literally does blame herself for Satoshi's disappearance, you know? Like, she thinks she must have not been enough for him, you know what I mean? So, it's very sad that she's able to give Keiichi this advice, but she's not able to take it herself with Satoshi, you know? At first I thought it was a coincidence, but with 3 people now, I couldn't discard the possibility. There's no such thing as impossible in this world.
この数日おかしいんだ。
Is he gonna tell her about Teppei?
何がですの？
Satoko seemed to have trouble breathing, but she still tried to listen to what I had to say.
一昨日の綿流しのお祭り。
I just think reminding her, you're just gonna trigger her on this. Like, she's not gonna be able to talk about this rationally, right? Like, it is not, like, if you try and bring up anything about Teppei at all, she's not gonna be able to talk about it.
そして俺は祭りに行ってみんなと遊んだ。
らしいですわね。あの時は取り乱
Oh
して
god, don't
申し訳ありません
apologize,
でした
don't apologize. Satoko remembered how she blew up at me in the classroom yesterday, and bowed to me a little.
実は俺祭りに行っていないって言ったら信じるか？
Satoko looked at me, confused. She couldn't help it, of course.
信じられるわけありませんわ。何を今さら。
信じられないだろ。信じられないのはだって俺は祭りに行っていないのに俺が祭りに現
Oh,
れて
fuck.
みんなと遊んだって言うんだ。こんなの信じられるわけないだろ。
それ本気ですの？
But, like, I'm just thinking, like, he's finally talking to Satoko. We're finally talking to her about this, right? And it's like, so what? He's gonna tell her that he killed Teppei.
あの綿流しの夜からおかしいんだ。
It normally is, isn't it?
いつの間にか変な足音がペタペタとついてくるようになって。
She's been feeling like someone apologizing. The blood drained from Satoko's expression.
足音がペタペタ。
I think she knows what you're talking about.
そうなんだ。最初は気のせいだと思ってたけどずっとついてくるんだ。多分今もついてきてる。里子の足音と混じってよく聞き分けられないけれど。
Satoko took a long and hard look at me. Maybe she was doubting my sanity. Coach did the same thing. I mean, why wouldn't he, after telling him like this? The more I thought about it, the more I was unable to endure the feeling that my hatred for Coach had been meaningless.
綿流しの日俺は祭りに行かずあることをしていたんだ。
I'm worried.
眠ったり意識がなくなったりしたことはなかった。だから寝ぼけ気分でフラフラと記憶になく祭りに出かけたなんてことはありえない。
それはおかしいですわね。ならどうやってお祭りで遊んだんですの？
Yeah.
俺は祭りには行ってないんだよ。
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. No. I can't let myself get emotional. If I get agitated now, that'd be like proving that there's something wrong with my head.
ごめん。みんなが信じてくれないんでつい。
圭一さんがそう言うなら信じてあげますわ。それで
あの夜高野さんに会ったんだ。それで見下されたと思って。
Oh, God. First person he's telling about seeing Takano that night, right? Did he even tell Eri about it, right? Okay, a little bit worried about that.
俺は心の中で念じたんだ。
That's an interesting thing, right? What if Takano... Okay, hear me out for a second, right? Keiichi promised not to tell anyone about seeing Takano that night, right? Takano's weird and creepy and maybe crazy, right? We have reason to suspect her for a lot of stuff, right? We pretty sure she faked her death. weird shit going on with Tomitake. She had Tomitake's bike, questions about his death, potential Takano involvement, right? Takano worked at where Eri worked, right? I don't know, but like, let's say somehow Takano knew that Keiichi went to Eri, and Takano thought, oh, Keiichi's telling this guy about seeing me that night, right? Which, I guess in her mind, would be really bad. So then that gives Takano potential motivation to stage Eri's suicide. I wouldn't put it past Takano. And I guess I have no evidence for this as a potential explanation, other than it's the only thing I can possibly think of that makes any sense at all. So, that's all I'm saying.
お前なんか死んじまえって。
高野さんってどことなくそういう雰囲気がございますものね。その気持ちわからなくもありません。
Interesting. I wonder when Satoko has interacted with Takano.
高野さんが死んだの昨日の話だ。どこかで焼け死んだらしい。
それ本当ですの？死んだんですの？
俺が死ねと願うと。
Yeah.
次の日には死んでるんだ。それから警察の大石ってやつも知ってるか？ムカつく太った
The annoying fat detective guy. Satoko nodded a little.
さっき警察が話してるのを聞いたんだが、どうもあいつ、実は昨日
like,
死んじま
I
って
just,
念じてたんだ。
I just don't think there's, do we need an explanation for this, or is it all just a coincidence, right? Like, I just don't, I mean, like, because I just don't think this means anything. That's what I'm saying here, is I just don't think this means anything, right? Like, I just don't think this matters. I think Keiichi is just convincing himself he has this magical power to kill people, and it's just not true, and it's just not real. That's like, I don't know, it's just, like, full stop, that's just kind of it, right? I guess it just being the string of coincidences might be a little bit deflating if someone, like, made a big deal out of this, but I really think that's all it is. I think there were explanations for all of these disappearances. I guess we don't know anything about Oishi, but, like, especially Takano, right, like, for Takano, we know that she died anyway in the last chapters, right? So, we know that one isn't tied to Keiichi wishing for her death, right? So, I just don't think this means anything. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think there's anything here.
それ本当の話ですの？
嘘じゃない。俺だって信じたくないけど、本当の話なんだ。高野さんも監督も大石も、俺が死ねと念じたら、本当に死んでしまったんだ。
For a little while, Satoko was at a loss. A long silence ensued.
それは怖い話ですわね。圭一さんにせめて嫌われない
She's
よう
not
に
gonna take
気を
it
つけません
seriously.
と。
I wonder why. Like, what do you think Satoko's thinking? I assume her mind would go to her uncle, right? That she would start thinking about him. But I wonder why she would, like, try and brush it off like this,
そ
you
れ
know?
だけじゃない。もっとおかしい。
Oh god, are you really gonna tell her?
それはお前のおじなんだ。
おじさまの話はやめてくださいましな。
Yeah.
昨日
Oh, don't say it, don't, stop, 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 stop.
嫌なんですの。
Yeah.
ありえないんだ。あいつがいるわけがないんだ。
She's gonna go crazy.
やめてって言ってますのよ。
Yeah. Because she doesn't... Because she doesn't want him to be gone. Part of her literally doesn't want him to be gone. Because of she thinks that means she failed, and that means Sachi's not coming back, right? So...
あの男が綿流しの夜以降、だって、あの男の
ことはもう嫌なんですの。
俺が殺したんだ。この手で。
Even the cicadas stopped crying. Her face was streaked with tears, and it stiffened even more as she looked at me in disbelief.
俺が綿流しの祭りの夜に
Yeah.
お前のおじを殺したんだ。だからお前の家に帰ってくるなんてことはありえないんだ。
But still, he went back. And last night, he found fault with the dinner you made him, yelled all sorts of things at you, and then basically boiled you in the bathtub. He didn't. He wasn't there, but it's gonna be impossible to make Satoko accept that, right? Because I think Satoko, like, it's so, like, compartmentalized. That's the thing, right? It's like, for her, she seems so fine and so normal when you talk to her normally, but there's all this shit with her uncle and the trauma she's faced then. It's like I don't put it past her at all to, in her horrible, traumatized mind, to feel like her uncle literally is still there, right? Because the effects of the horrible abuse and torture aren't gone, you know? Like, she literally feels like he is still there, you know what I mean? Like, that couldn't possibly have happened.
だから俺はあの男を確かに殺したという証拠を確かめるために。だがそこには死体はなかった。こんなことがあり得ると思うか？確かに殺したのに死体がないんだ。
Oh my god.
そして何事もなかったかのように帰宅してお前の前にこんなことがあっていいはずないだろう。
Satoko's entire body stiffened. Depends how serious she is in this, right? How I don't know, how far gone she is, I guess. How able she is to tell, like, reality from her traumatized mind, right? But I could, again, I mean, I said this before, but I could imagine her literally, that it's the same reason she rejected help from others before. I don't think she wanted Keiichi to do this, right? Because she thinks this means that the trial she has to face for Satoshi to come back is, like, over, you know? She was shrinking away, like there was someone in front of her about to hurt her.
お前も俺のこと頭が変になったって思ってるんだろうな。無理もないさ。俺だって信じられない。
ケイイチさんはきっと空前呪った人が死んでしまったんで混乱してるだけに。
But no, she's just gonna be in denial. She's not gonna be able to accept it, right? She's so in denial. Like, not only do I think that it's like this issue with her being traumatized and with the effects of the abuse, but I think she's also would literally be in denial about her uncle disappearing, right? Like because that means Satoshi has gone forever if she can't deal with her uncle's abuse in her mind, right?
監督の自殺にショックを受けて気が動転してるだけなんですのよ。今日はもう学校を休んでお家で休んだ方がよろしいと思いますわ。
Okay, she's just gonna go crazy.
私はもう平気です。
Oh my god.
どうかご自分の体を大事になさいまし。
Satoko spoke like she understood me, but she also told me to go home. I could see the revulsion in her face, and knew that she didn't want to be around me anymore.
サトコをちゃんと診療所まで見送ったら、サトコだってまだ足元がフラフラじゃないか。途中で倒れたら大変だぞ。
私はもう本当に大丈夫なんですのよ。男の人にいつまでもこんな姿を晒していたくないんですのよ。
Yeah. She wobbled up the shrine steps, looking like she was about to fall. I guess Rika can help her. Oh man, I immediately ran after her and helped her stay on her feet. But then Satoko promptly jumped away from me. That outright rejection hurt a lot. Well, you can't blame her. When she got to the top of the stairs, her breathing was ragged, and she wasn't even looking at me. At this point, I was being ignored. Well, it was more like she didn't want to have anything to do with me. It really was a feeling of rejection. And that hurt my heart more than any blade could have. This was the path I chose for her sake. To be treated like this at the end of it all was just so saddening. Don't be naive, Keiichi Mabara. You never wanted to be repaid in the first place. You didn't do it so that Satoko would thank you. You did it so Satoko would be happy. And that was what led to this ending. Rika-chan's house was a disaster prevention storehouse used by the town council. If you went past it, a little further than the shrine grounds, you'd apparently reach the back of the assembly hall. Satoko was heading there, walking quickly, the gravel under her feet crunching as she went. Did she want to get there as soon as possible, or did she want to run away? I couldn't tell. And then I heard the vigorous sound of wings flapping. I turned around and saw a crow. Ah, great. What a good... Love seeing crows, the representation of, like, death and murder. That's really good. I hadn't seen many crows since coming to Hinamizawa. I saw them a lot in my old town, though. On garbage day, they'd flock to trash collection points, peck through the bags with their beaks, drag out the contents, and have a feast. As I was remembering that, I saw a few crows flocking around the shrine's donation box. And I thought how terrible it was to someone to leave a garbage bag in a place like that. The cicadas quieted. Okay, unfortunately, this seems like a good place. I gotta take a break with the recording now. There will be more. This episode's not ending yet, but I gotta stop. So I will continue in, I don't know, at some point, I guess. Later tonight, tomorrow, maybe, who knows. We'll do our best, that's for sure. Okay, well, see you in 1 second for you. Okay, let's continue. I feel like some crazy shit's about to happen. I don't know. The cicadas quieted. Breathing stopped. Thoughts ceased. Even time came to a halt. I ran over to where the crows were flocking. I ran there in order to drive a horrible idea out of my mind. I definitely hadn't wanted this. There's no way I would ever wish for this even by mistake. This was not... What? What are we talking about? Rika is dead too, is what... Okay, good, no, great. Why? Why would she be dead? Where did I put my notes? Why would she be dead? I don't... Like... Okay, alright. This one I don't have an explanation for. Where's my pin? Man, I am not... There it is, okay. Okay. This one I really don't have an explanation for at all. I mean, I guess we don't know anything about Oishi's disappearance, too. Why would Rika be dead? Why would Rika be dead? When they noticed my vicious approach, the crows all flapped upward, fleeing into the sky. When the crows' big black bodies flew away, they exposed the garbage bag. Great. Awesome. Perfect. Right. Good. Why would Rika be dead? Okay. Right. Why would she be dead? Everyone died. Is everyone just dead? What? Like... I'm trying to think of literally any connection. Okay. So, like, what? Okay. Here's what I'm thinking, right? It's interesting how the people who kind of their goal in life, in a sense, was to protect Satoko, both of them are, like, dead now, right? Eri and Rika are both dead. Both of them, it seemed like kind of their whole thing was Satoko, right? Wanting to see Satoko be happy, right? I'm imagining, I mean, who knows, but what if what Keiichi's done with Teppei has, like, ruined everything, and it is now, like, impossible for Satoko to ever be happy, right? Like, let's say it's gonna be that bad. If she faces the idea, Satoko facing the truth that Teppei is dead is going to just ruin everything for her, because now she thinks that she's never coming back, whatever, right? I feel like I can imagine that, and... that feels like if Satoko never being able to be happy again, and that was both of these characters, like, I don't know, motivation, their goal, I don't know. In that sense, like, I can vaguely see why they would be dead, but, like, I don't know why this would, like, happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, that's a link between these two characters, and they're both dead now, right? And they were both related to Satoko, this weird shit's going on with Satoko, so they're both dead. But, like, in the actual story, like, who killed them? Why are they dead? Like... Now it's making me rethink my whole thing about Takano and Eri, that's for sure. I mean, that wasn't really, like, an idea, actually. Like, I don't know. It's not like I really thought that out very well, right? But... what had I seen there? The scream had escaped from my throat before I understood what I was looking at. What was this? Satoko came over as well, realizing something has happened. Oh, fuck. Holy shit. Please, And she looked over my shoulder, then she screamed as well. Holy fuck. This wasn't. The garbage bag was crimson, dyed in fresh blood. Oh, enough of this stupid roundabout way of saying it. Oh, that sound. Holy fuck. That's right, yes. It was Rika-chan. Our friend, Satoko's best friend. Holy fuck, what is this? Always easygoing, clever as a cat, but so cute you couldn't hate her. Our friend, Rika-chan, she was... Rika-chan was stark naked. She was face up, limbs sprawled. Her eyes were like glass, just staring up into the sky. And,
Rika!
Right, great, good. Satoko broke down crying on the spot. Okay, no, I want to talk about stuff, but this fucking sound, I gotta go. And yet, she still couldn't approach her friend's remains. The crows had gotten through the garbage bag and they dragged out an apple peel and spread it all over. No. Oh, God, fuck. Crows, they couldn't do this. Is she... Whoa, is she, like, disemboweled? On the spot, I started vomiting. The sour taste became a bitter one as I threw up over and over, like the Watanagashi ritual. Rika-chan, her stomach, okay. Yeah, great, awesome. Was cut wide open, vertically, completely open. She was, like, sacrificed, yeah? I mean, it's the Watanagashi ritual thing, right? But why, like, who in the fuck would do this, and why? Right? Like... Awesome. Great. Crows couldn't have done this. Yeah, clearly Keiichi. And from her open stomach, her organs, her bowels were dragged out like children's toys left over the floor. Great. Good. The unbelievable sight induced oxygen deprivation in my brain. Color left my vision, a pounding headache, dizzy, and I wanted to vomit. It was like the nightmarish remains of a ceremonial killing. Yeah. Someone somewhere had killed Rika-chan, brought her here, laid her with her limbs sprawled out, and then cut open her stomach, and dragged out her intestines. Red and pink viscera were sticking out of her gut, and her intestines were scattered in every direction, like it had been for fun. The entire ground was covered in an ocean of red and black, and a few of the crows had hopped around inside that ocean. They walked through the sea of blood, leaving bloody footprints, and those footprints, there were several still left on Rika-chan's body. Those sinister prints made it seem even more like a bizarre ritual killing. I may have wished for Takano-san and Coach and Oishi to die, but I didn't remember ever wishing for Rika-chan's death. That's not what's important right now, Keiichi. I stumbled backwards and stepped on a newspaper. A newspaper in a place like this? The newspaper was what was covering my hatchet. I had kept it wrapped up on my belt in order to carry Satoko, and that newspaper had fallen off. Does the newspaper say something? Sheesh, don't scare me like that. I bent down and picked it up, and then Satoko looked at me with such a disbelief as I'd never seen, and froze. She was looking straight at me, and the hatchet, on my belt. Sure, yeah. I mean, he did just confess to murdering Teppei, so... Satoko, trembling madly, backed away. Oh my god, he's gonna be blamed for it, yeah, I mean... Or he's gonna go insane, he's gonna think it was him, he's gonna go insane, right, like... Okay, I want to talk about what I was gonna say earlier, but that horrible sound stopped happening, so I just want to, like, theorize for a second here. I mean, like, I call it theorize, but it doesn't make any sense. But, okay. Timeline stuff. We've talked about the timeline stuff. That it seems almost like someone is, like, piecing together a timeline where, like, things don't go horribly wrong, maybe? Because, again, it's like every time, the past 3 times, we have started slightly further on in the timeline, right? Where the things that have happened in the past games before shit started going down, I guess, still happened, but things didn't go, like, horribly wrong, right? An interesting one, like in this game, for example, is the game tournament still happened, right? And we have to assume that the stuff with the dolls happened from Watanagashi, right? But it makes me wonder, did Keiichi give that doll to Mion in this timeline, right? Because if he didn't, if he hadn't given that doll to Mion, then we assume stuff would have went down the same way it did in Watanagashi, but that didn't happen, right? So it just makes me wonder, like, if that stuff happened, it makes me wonder if Keiichi gave Mion that doll, so all that stuff, like, went fine, you know? That's kind of besides the point. But I'm just saying, it seems like we're building together a timeline where things are, like, going well, I guess, right? I don't know, like, if a person has control over that, or, like, I have no fucking idea, right? And, like, the interesting thing is it seems like when things start going wrong, like, let's say, I've talked before about how when things go wrong in the story, it always coincides with Keiichi's friend group also, like, breaking apart, right? Like, Keiichi's friend group deteriorates and their connections deteriorate, and then insane, crazy shit starts happening, and everything becomes terrible, right? So, I wonder if those things being linked like that, if there's, like, more there than I think. You know what I mean? Like, let's say, in this story, right, crazy shit hadn't started happening until, like, now, right? Until very recently, right? The insane, crazy shit going on wasn't happening, right? So, like, I'm, like, this is such crazy theorizing, I have no backup for it all in the story, but I'm just gonna go with it, right? So let's say, because nothing crazy and insane had started happening, unless you want to categorize Keiichi killing Teppei as crazy and insane, but I kind of don't, right? I feel like it wasn't, right? Nothing crazy and insane had started happening until very recently. It's almost like, you know, no support for this at all. It's almost like you can imagine whoever is controlling the timeline or whatever, making things go the way they want it to, I guess. It's like they were letting this, like, pan out, right? It's almost like Keiichi killing Teppei could have been fine, I guess, right? Everything up to that point, maybe, or maybe everything up to the point of Keiichi killing Teppei could have been fine, right? But then after Keiichi killed Teppei, okay, what's going on now? All of this crazy, insane shit is happening, right? So, and after all this crazy, insane shit always happens, you know, we do end up, like, resetting the timeline, right? So it's almost like through this crazy, insane shit going on, through all of these people getting murdered, I guess, the timeline, like, resets, right? I don't know if, is there any, like, specific person you can bring it down to? I mean, could you say it's Keiichi's death that resets the timeline, right? I mean, like, maybe, because that theoretically has kind of happened at the end of both of the games, right? Assuming he was dead and with Tanagashi, but I think he was kind of just hallucinating and had PTSD and was crazy, right? I don't think Zombie Mion actually killed him at the end of Tanagashi, right? But maybe, let's say for the sake of argument that he did, right? Let's say it's Keiichi's death that makes the timeline, like, reset so we can try again. Then all of this, then someone orchestrating all of this crazy shit to start happening around Keiichi and basically orchestrate his death, in that sense, kind of makes sense, right? If their goal is to reset the timeline. But, like, that just seems like such a weird roundabout way to do anything, you know what I mean? And, like, I don't know, right? Like, that's the only thing, that's the only trigger I can think of that has been causing the timeline to, like, reset, you know? Like, but, like, if someone in the story has some kind of direct control over the timeline like this, then why would we be doing this crazy shit? You know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, I don't know, right? It doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. But, like, what, I mean, that, something like that is the only possible explanation I can imagine for this, right? I mean, like, I don't know why all of this insane shit is going on and all of these people are randomly dropping dead now otherwise, right? Other than it really feels like, the reason why I'm saying this, I guess, is because in the previous chapters, the crazy shit going on has always coincided with the deterioration of Keiichi's friend group, right? That didn't really happen in this chapter. It kind of did to an extent, but, like, not really, right? It's almost like the deterioration of Keiichi's friend group didn't happen, right? Until the very end, I guess you could say. And then immediately all this crazy shit started happening right at the end, right? It's like all the crazy shit that hadn't been happening for the whole game was all jam-packed at the very end here, almost to, like, I don't know, make up for lost time. You know what I mean? And it feels so, like, purposeful in that sense, right? It feels so purposeful that, like, oh, God, but, like, I don't know, it feels so meta to, like, view it in that way, and I just don't know if that's what the story's going for, you know? I guess, to sum it up, I have absolutely no theories or any ideas about why the hell Rika would be dead and Iri would be dead, other than this connection to Satoko and them being like that they failed to protect Satoko, I guess, right? But, like, of course, that's not, like, a reason, other than that being, like, a story reason why they would be dead and a potential reason why they would be dead. That's not, like, a logical explanation for their deaths, right? Like, I have no fucking idea who would have gutted Rika and, like, you know, like, unless the goal through killing Rika like this is literally to drive Keiichi insane. And through Keiichi being driven insane, that somehow resets the timeline, right? Because that happened in both of the previous games. It's like once Keiichi completely lost his fucking sanity, the timeline reset. So, I don't know. Maybe, but, like, who would have done this, right? Am I start blaming Takano for everything, right? Because that explanation kind of made sense for Iri. For Rika, not really. I mean, Takano is one of the only people who knows about the Watanagashi ritual, right? This whole gutting people and fucking this weird intestine shit, right? So, I mean, Takano is unironically a literal potential fucking person who could have done this, right? But I don't know why she would do it, unless she is the one in control of the timeline. But then, I mean, it's just then we're talking about crazy shit, right? Like, there's like nothing in the story to back any of that up. So like, I just don't know. Okay. I'm glad we didn't figure anything out at all. She didn't care at all that she was exposing herself through the towel. She just trembled and tried to step back from the demon in front of her. Oh, fuck. Because no, I just don't think this at all, right? I do not feel like the way that this could be bringing you is to make you think that Keiichi had literally lost his mind and done all this crazy shit while he was insane and we just didn't even know. But I don't think that's it at all. I think there were like actual explanations for this that make sense that aren't Keiichi lost his mind and did all this shit while we like weren't looking. You know what I mean? Like. Screaming weakly, Satoko began to run, unsteadily. Yeah, how about getting those days back, Keiichi, huh? Run away, that is. And of course, he's so desperate to just try and prove that he's not the one who did it, right? Because it's like, this is all part of holding on to those days he wants to return to so much, right? Like, he's like, he barely even cares about Rika being dead, you know? He hasn't even thought about it. He's just like, oh, it wasn't me. The way she ran, it was so weak, so slow. If I wanted to go after her, I could have caught up. But if I tried to grab Satoko's shoulder or something right now, she might actually go crazy. So I had to follow her and try to clue this up. Nice. How many fucking people are dead? Where's Mion and Rena? I mean, obviously, it doesn't really make any sense for Satoko to be blaming Keiichi, but like, I guess I can get it. I don't know. She wants to blame someone, right? Because fucking everyone in her life is dead now. Like. Sure. No, I don't think that's it. I just don't think that's it at all, right? Because, like, I mean, I just don't think that's it, right? I don't think Keiichi was, like, hallucinating and did all this crazy shit. Well, you know, like. To kill your uncle. He's just gonna lose his mind completely. Like, literally. Like, I don't know. Like. God, how far have we gone from those first few chapters of this, right? Like, fuck. I might have been able to slowly answer each of Satoko's questions at a time, but in this situation, explaining my innocence in such a short period of time was impossible. I mean, I didn't even know if I was really innocent anyway. At the very least, I killed Satoko's uncle. There was no body, but I killed him, without a doubt. At that point, I was far from innocent. And I wished Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi were dead. I mean, it's almost like... I don't know. Because it just feels so fucking crazy. Everyone just fucking died instantly. You know what I mean? Just all of these characters just dropped dead suddenly. You know what I mean? It just really feels like this weird timeline shit going on. It really feels like Keiichi messed something up, did something wrong, killing Teppei or something, or the way he handled Teppei afterwards, I don't know. Or the way he handled the situation afterwards, I don't know. And then immediately it was like, whatever this weird timeline shit is, it's like just fucking everyone died, and it's like, okay, no, this is wrong, we gotta fucking fix all this, you know? So it's like, I don't know, like And that curse of mine was granted. When I wished for Takano-san to die, I didn't think of it as anything more than a normal thing you'd say to someone you didn't like. But then she actually did die, and I realized that if I wanted people to die, they would. And hoping for it to happen again, I cursed Oishi and Kosh to the same fate. I mean, and maybe I'm being, like, blinded by this, right? Maybe I should be searching more for, like, a logical explanation that actually makes sense for their deaths, right? Maybe I need to do that. Because, like, this timeline stuff, it doesn't really mean anything. I don't really have any reason to, like, think this. Other than, like, just what's been happening at the beginning of these games, right? Like, I don't know. So maybe it's unfair of me to immediately discount it all and say it doesn't make any sense and it's impossible for me to come up with an explanation. Because, like, maybe I could. But, like, I don't know. What could the explanation possibly be, you know? If I'm saying it was Takano, okay, let's say it was Takano who killed Rika because she knew about the Tanagashi stuff. She's someone who would know to do this ritual, right? And I'm saying it was Takano who killed Iri for the reasons I explained before. Why? Why would she do any of this, right? For what purpose, right? Like what? And she killed Tomitake too, just for some reason, I guess, right? Like, why? I don't know. I don't have a reason, right? I don't have an explanation for it. So, because, like, what would Takano's motivation for any of this stuff be, right? Like, because I just don't know what Takano knows. I don't know what Takano thinks. I just have no idea, right? Like, I just have no idea, right? Like, so, even ignoring Takano-san's death, Kochi's and Uishi's were completely premeditated crimes. Was I a killer, just like Satoko said? Was I unable to distinguish between illusion and reality, and turned into a demon without remembering it, become a killer who carried out Oishiro-sama's curse? No, that couldn't be. It was impossible. Ah, damn it. The very word impossible was impossible in Hinamizawa right now. How many freaking times have I said that word these past 3 days? Satoko had started crying again, and was walking unsteadily. At first it felt like she was still running, but now, it was like she was walking away crying from someone bullying her. Fuck.
どうしてこんなことになってしまったんですの
That's my question, Satoko. Why did they? Why did any of this happen? Like, I just don't know. I just don't know.
どうして
No, just this is the first thing. Really is the first thing. I just have no explanation for it all, right? No, I guess that's not true. I've never had, like, a direct explanation for, like, Tomitake's death, right? Or any of the deaths from, like, the years before, right? Other than, like, Satoshi and his aunt. But even that is, like, I don't know. But no, this is just so many. I don't understand Tomitake's death still. I don't understand Iri's death. I don't understand Rika's death. If Oishi's dead, I don't understand that. I mean, that too is, like, Takano could have a reason to want Oishi dead as well, right? So, like, it could all come back to Takano, but why would she kill Takano in this timeline and never... I mean, why would she kill Oishi in this timeline and never before, right? Like, what would be the difference now, right? Like, let's say she thinks Oishi's onto her or something. What would be the difference now between what happened this time and before, you know? Like, I can't think of anything, you know? Because she faked her death just like before, right? So why would she need Oishi to disappear, you know? If there's an answer to that, then I wanted to know it too. Why? Why had it turned out like this?
ニーニーがいなくなってずっ
Ah.
と寂しかったけど圭一さんが転校してきてくれてまたみんな明るくなって楽しくなって毎日
Yeah, those are the same days he wants to return to so badly. Yeah, she was right. Those days were bright and beautiful. But something was going to come along and end them someday. They couldn't last forever. And yet, after that, Satoko and I shouted the exact same thing.
どうしてこんなことに
Us. The cicadas were sneering at the spectacle. A strange game of tag. Ah, shut up. It's almost like he's fucking, like, think about this, right? It's like he's walking through the woods carrying a hatchet, walking after her. Just like Rena and him in Chapter 1. Like, eventually I heard the murmuring of a stream. The forest parted, and a suspension bridge appeared. I literally, like, the same, right? Isn't this, like, the same place? Is this the same place? Maybe not. Maybe we haven't seen this before. I thought Rena led him here, in Chapter 1 as T, but maybe I'm misremembering. It's been so long. Satoko was crossing dangerously, wobbling as though she might fall at any moment. She's gonna fucking die too, isn't she? She's gonna fall off. And when I stepped onto the bridge, it swayed a lot, causing Satoko to stagger and fall on the spot.
大丈夫か貞子
近寄らないで
Fuck. Oh my god.
人殺し
Satoko shouted, her hatred made very clear. It was sad. If words could cut, then this warmth flowing from my eyes would have been blood for sure.
どうしてこうなってしまったんですの？
Literally.
ケンイチさんのこと大好きだったのに。
Yeah. I wanted to go up to her and give her a hand, but the distance between us was uncrossable. And I think it all comes back. Even though there's all this crazy shit going on, it all comes back to Keiichi's original decision to kill Teppei, right? That was just the wrong choice to make, right? That was never going to be an answer to this situation, right? That was never going to fix everything and fix Satoko and fix the situation, you know? It all comes back to that, right? And the reason I want it to all come back to that is because that's a decision that Keiichi made, that at least we know why he made it and we know what happened, you know? It's at least logical, we can at least look at it and analyze it, unlike all this other crazy shit going on, you know? Because in the end, I guess that's the thing here, right? Is if Keiichi had never killed Teppei, well, I don't know, right? I mean, Teppei would still be around, it would have been awful, but it wouldn't have been like this, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe there wasn't a solution, right? Maybe we were powerless. Maybe that's just the answer, you know? I don't know. If I got any closer, Satoko would start shouting again, and say things that would hurt me deeply again. So I couldn't approach any closer than this.
Satoko, 俺にもなんでこうなったかわからないんだ。でもこれだけは言える。リカちゃんを殺したのは。それだけは絶対に。い
い加減なこと言わないでほしいですわ。自分の記憶にも自信が持てない人が何を言ったってどうして。
Well, sure. I mean, it's not like Satoko's just fucking out of her mind right now, right? Everyone she cares about is dead, right? I think logically that she would understand it wasn't Keiichi who did it, if he just gave her some space and she had time to process all of the horrible, insane shit that has happened in the past 24 hours. You know, so, like, I don't know. Like, there's no point in trying to argue or trying to get through to her right now. But obviously, Keiichi is also losing his mind and is not in a good spot. So, like, of course, right, like, I mean, I timed my hands into fists. This was mortifying. I wasn't crazy. Hinamizawa was crazy, ever since I wandered into it, lost, on that one night. This insane world, where I was at the festival when I wasn't, and the uncle I killed was alive. Where death would come just by wishing for it. It was this world's fault. Mion and Rena started acting strangely, like they were possessed by something too. And Coach wouldn't believe anything I had to say. And even Satoko, who I should have protected, was yelling at me like this. Was the price for killing a man supposed to be this high? Kinda. Was I really going to be forced to stay in such a bitter world? I did the right thing. At least I wanted to. So then, why? I hated it, every time I asked why. The day Satoko and I enjoyed a peace went so wrong.
Satoko,
oh god, man.
俺は人殺しじゃない。
では、そのナタは何なんですの?
It's interesting, right? They're saying Higurashi, which is like, you know, person killer, right? The name of the chapter is Tatarigoroshi, right? Because curse killing, right? Or curse killing, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, right? How there's a kind of competing things, right? Whether or not it's a curse or a person, you know? I don't know. I just think that's interesting how that word keeps coming up in the conversation here, compared to the title of the chapter, you know?
納得のいく説明はできまして。
このナタが怖いのか。
Just tell her, right? Like, I think she would understand that you thought her uncle was still alive.
捨てるよ。それなら安心だろ。
No, she wants an explanation. Satoko didn't nod, but she seemed to be in agreement with that proposition. I clumsily took the hatchet out of my belt, then dropped it over the side of the bridge into the stream below.
捨てたぞ。これで話を聞いてくれるな。
武器を捨てたくらいで気を許すと思いまして。ケイイチさんほどの方なら私を素手で締め殺すなんて簡単でしょうね。
Yeah. Like hell I would ever want to kill Satoko. You idiot.
じゃあどうしたらいい？両手を頭の上で組んだらいいか。
そうですわね。両手を頭の上で組んで後ろを向いてくださいます。
There was a cunning plan, much like the one she used during club activities. She's gonna run away. I mean, putting my hands on my head and turning would mean I couldn't attack Satoko very easily. I immediately acquiesced to her request, since it would make her feel better. She might just fucking jump off, right? Like, I mean... Satoko stood up, then carefully approached me from behind. And then she actually came right up behind me. She was so close, and yet I was so sad that I wasn't allowed to turn around.
圭一さんが悪くないのは
Okay,
なんと
yeah.
なく
But it's so impossible to process. Again, the fact that Satoko is able to, like, say words right now and is able to, like, have a conversation, like, she is such a fucking strong person to, like, go through the things she has and, like...
多分あなたは
Oh.
何か悪いものに乗り移られただけなんですの
I mean, I disagree, but I understand why Satoko could view it in that way,
さっ
right?
きまでは圭一さんが殺人鬼なんだと思ってたけど私
Maybe it's like Satoshi.
Wakarimashita.
I wonder, does she know about
あ
Satoshi?
なたの目を見ていたら
Oh. I could hear that Satoko is still crying, but her voice was gentle just the same.
圭一さんが人殺しなんかするわけがない
Yeah. Well, no, he could.
圭一さんの
He sure
体を
could.
何か悪いものが乗っ取って悪事に駆り立てただけ
And that's the interesting thing, is we know that Keiichi could, right? We know he could kill Teppei, right? Was she speaking literally right now? Or was she trying to admonish me? I couldn't tell.
思えばひょっとするとあの人たちも圭一さんと同じものに乗り
Yeah.
移られていたのかもしれないあの時は殺されるとしか思わなかったからそこまでは考えが及ばなかったけど
Who? Teppei? Or Satoshi?
今ならわかるあれは乗り移った
And I mean,
何か悪いものの仕業だった
and it's so obvious now, right? That it's like, this is just an explanation Satoko just wants to hold on to so badly, right? Just like in, like, Onikakushi, right? Keiichi thinking the same thing, you know, that he just wanted... In that case, of course, Keiichi was going crazy in Onikakushi, but, I mean, he wanted so badly to think his friends were just being possessed by something, right? That was an easier thing to accept than him himself going crazy in that case, you know? But in this case, it's just Satoko wants something to hold on to, some kind of explanation that makes any sense, you know? Because that would be so much easier to say. It's just like, yeah, they were just evil and possessed by something, you know?
サトコ何の話だ
It was less like she was talking to me, and more like she was talking to herself, like she was confessing at my back.
分かってるんですの身に覚えがないわけじゃないんです
Yeah. If it is some kind of, like, feelings or emotion that activates this thing that makes you go crazy, right? I mean, from that one tip, right? I mean, I think she would have experienced it too. Satoko's voice started to become mixed with sobs. Her pained voice tore at my heart. But I didn't know what Satoko was talking about.
西宮殿の屋根によじ登ったことがありますの何年も前のことですわ
Oh. Saiguden. Once, when Satoko was playing hide-and-seek at the shrine grounds, she climbed onto the roof of the storehouse for ritual implements, which everyone said not to go near, and hid. Then, Satoko saw that she could get in, through a window meant for ventilation. Holy shit. For Satoko, the word curse was plenty scary, but she was more curious about what was inside the unknown storehouse. She'd been inside before. She removed the grating from the window, which was already hanging off, slid her small body into it, and climbed down inside. It was too dark to see much, but after descending, she realized just how high up she'd been. Despite the darkness, she could see a few things around her, thanks to the faint light coming in from the air window. And much to her disappointment, it was just a regular old storehouse. She tried to leave, but the door was locked up tight from the outside, and it was made to not open from within. She would have to go back out through the ventilation window she'd come in from. But the window was high on the wall, and there was no way she would be able to climb back up. Satoko desperately tried not to cry, and racked her brain thinking of a way to get up there. There were a lot of birdcage-looking things hanging by chains from the ceiling, the things that Shion, in her weird, crazy state, thought she saw someone in one of them, remember? She took the hanging chains and strung them along the wall. If she climbed up the bundle of chains, she might be able to manage to climb up to the ventilation window. There was nothing else she could do, so she had to try. And try she did. It was dark and creepy, and she didn't want to stay there forever. The more she thought about that, the more she panicked. She climbed the bundle of chains. Satoko could hear the clinks and clangs of everything creaking under her weight. What was that fucking insane shit I was going on about a while ago about the Saiguden? And, like, I don't even remember. It just didn't even make any sense. So, I guess there's no point in me even trying to remember it. Like, I don't know. The Oyashiro-sama statue's there. Fucking... The person stomping on that. Yeah, I remember. It doesn't I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And then, just as her hand reached the window, One of the metal fixtures she used to stick the chains on the wall flew off, and all the chains began to pull loudly and furiously every which way. Spurred on by the sounds behind her, she managed to get back onto the roof from the window. Because of the weight of the flailing bundle of chains, the other fixtures broke, and then one of the big bird cages hanging from the ceiling fell to the floor with a huge noise. Under it was an image of Oyashiro-sama, his vessel, and the cage took off one of the arms, then trapped some other implements beneath it. This is interesting, right? Because, maybe there is some merit to it. I'm just saying, because we never got an explanation for the weird sound that Shion and Tomitake heard, even though I think they were going crazy. They still heard the same sound. And it was a sound that kind of sounds like all the ruckus that Satoko's making right now, you know what I mean? But, like, this didn't happen then, right? Obviously, right? So, interesting, I suppose. I don't know. It didn't take very long for her to grow scared of what she'd done. The deafening noise could be heard from the rest of the shrine grounds. A few other children heard it and gathered around. And of course, Rika was one of them. Then Rika's father, the shrine priest, with an angry look, ran over. And then, as for what happened next, it was painful to remember. The only one who knew where Rika's parents kept the key to the ritual storehouse was Rika. She was punished for it, so he scolded her, saying that this happened because Rika pulled a prank and hid me in there. He was very angry and menacing. Just looking at him was enough to frighten anyone. He exposed Rika's back, oh, awesome, great, cool, amazing. Took a strangely shaped ritual cane or something and struck her with it several times. Cool, great. I'm glad how awesome all the parents are in this story. Rika's words at the time, it wasn't me, I'm sorry. That pitiful voice, I still can't get it out of my head. The apologizing, yeah. I should have said it was me. I should have said so, to save my best friend from that false accusation, without being afraid of Rika's father's terrible temper. Rika gritted her teeth and cried, at the crime she didn't remember doing. Ever since then, the world had been strange. It's not, but... interesting. I don't know, I gotta think about this. I don't know, I gotta think. I don't know. It's something, right? The reason it's interesting because it brings up the idea of Satoko herself having, like, this regret in her past, right? That she feels like the world is different ever since then, right? Something that I wonder if she ever told Rika about. Something I wonder if she ever, if she ever apologized for it, if she ever, came to terms with this, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure it's something she would regret forever, And it just makes me think, it's the same thing I've always said with Keiichi, right? That it's like the thing walking behind him that he doesn't want to face, right? It's that same idea, something in your past you don't want to acknowledge, that you don't want to address,
Oyashiro-sama no Tatari.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes along with what Shion said in Matanagashi, that Satoko's cursed, right? I think Shion was saying that because she had personal reasons to hate Satoko, right? Well, no, I think Shion was going crazy in those moments, and she also, blamed Satoko for Satoshi's disappearance, right? And she was close with Satoshi, right? So, that's why she said all that crazy shit about Satoko being cursed, right? Yeah, it's almost like you could say, yeah. It's like, from her perspective, she could think it's her fault, right? That Keiichi got possessed because of her, that she's cursed just like that too, Yeah. But it's not her fault, right? Oh, sure, the same thing Keiichi was thinking in the last chapter, right? Yeah. I understand, of course, why she's saying this, and why this is an explanation she's grasped onto. I'm just saying, in reality, I don't think this is it at all, right? I mean, obviously, I don't believe in the curse. I don't think the curse is the real explanation for anything, So, I mean... I wonder. Haven't seen them in a bit. But like, why would a Wishi die, you know? I mean, that's kind of the odd one out here, right? Is if a Wishi's dead, why, you know? Then what's going on, Keiichi? You don't have an explanation either. When I turned around, I was thrust away with amazing force. Given my hands were awkwardly placed on my head, I couldn't take the fall and lost my balance. And I'd been pushed not onto the bridge, but to the side. Not into the bridge, but to the side. Towards the stream. No, this can't be happening. Ugh. As one last miracle, I was allowed to grab a cord hanging from the bridge. Far below me was the stream. Surely she's not gonna kill him like this, right? We were pretty high up, and below were rocks of all sizes. If I fell, it clearly wouldn't be pretty. The entire bridge was tilting under my body weight. My frail little grip probably wouldn't last another minute before my fingers let go. She can't even help him, right? I mean, I didn't understand myself what I meant by shouting her name then. Was I asking her to save me, or was I asking her why she did this? Finally, everything came back into focus, and I saw Satoko. And I was surprised at what an odd expression she had. It was the first time I'd seen it. It was an expression of righteous anger, meant only for those who needed to die. What is this music? Meditation. Great, yeah. If only. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's just like the way Keiichi was viewing, like, the demon in Chapter 2, right? I mean, it's literally just like that, you know, like, yeah. As she screamed, she jerked the bridge to and fro. She didn't have to do that. I was going to fall anyway. God, this sucks. Man. Fuck. I don't know what my face looked like at the time, but it seemed like it was enough to quell Satoko's agitation. But he just wanted you to be happy. He just wanted to get those days back. Well, everyone else who had that same goal is dead, so what's gonna happen to you, Keiichi? Satoko didn't seem to have any more desire to listen to what I had to say. And for that to happen at the very end like this was tragic. Yeah, sure. I don't think so, unfortunately. You know what I think is the silver lining of this is I think this timeline we're gonna be starting fresh. Everything's gonna be a-okay. Yeah, I mean she can't accept any of this, right? She doesn't want this to be a reality at all, so of course she's not gonna. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And those were the last words Satoko ever said to me. Fuck. God, dude, he did all of this for her, right? All of this, right? And it was just, this is what it ends up as, you know? Like... Man. At least he tells himself he did it all for her, you know? I mean... Those sad, tragic, and altogether unrewarding words. What on earth was I? My desire to make Satoko happy ended up like this. Where did I first go wrong? And what was the mistake I made? When did I make it? Was I the crazy one, or was Hinamizawa? Right, and that's... Man. What was the mistake I made? Even after all this, I thought I wasn't crazy at all. It was this eerie world that was crazy. This world I'd accidentally wandered into that one night. Because that fun world, where I never doubted all the crazy times we had as a club, would go on forever. It couldn't possibly have transformed into such an abnormal world. That fun world wouldn't have ever ended like this, with Satoko pushing me to my death. In the end, I was going to be swallowed up by this crazy world, and disappear. No, I'd probably already disappeared. Yes, probably. On the night of Tanagashi. I'm sure that in the world I really belonged to, I had vanished that night, and everyone was worried. It was laughable that I had taken this long to figure out I wasn't around anymore. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th year, with Satoko's uncle dying and me disappearing. Right, and it's like, he's just lost it. He just thinks he's not around anymore. Yeah, that it's just like Satoshi, yeah. In the real world, Satoko had already been freed. Maybe my friends were all lamenting my disappearance and valiantly trying to get back on their feet. And even though they were down to 4 people, the club would reopen, and they would have a good time without me, waiting for the day when I would come back. I'm sorry, everyone. I couldn't come back home. But this was what I wished for. It was my wish for Satoko's smile, and my duty as her Nimi. At this point, there would be nobody left to torture you. Because Satoshi and I, it took 2 years, but we succeeded. That annoying, toothy smile of yours. And he just wants to tell himself this so bad, but we wanted to see it one more time. Is that it? It's not the end, right? I mean, I haven't even gotten the last achievement. My pain wasn't gentle or merciful. Oh, he's not dead. It was a sharp pain, violent, powerful, and ruthless. What little compassion I had receded in the span of a moment. And now I could die. I could say goodbye to this insane world. Farewell, crazed Hinamizawa. Thanks for giving me the psychic power to kill people whenever I wanted. If you'll still allow it, I'll wish for one last thing. The death of this very world, of this crazed Hinamizawa. So that nobody would ever again have to find themselves lost here again. Okay. It's pretty easy for me to discount all of this weird supernatural shit. We do have more tips. Right, I forgot I never got the achievement for that. Well, let's read the tip, shall we? I really thought that was the last chapter, but I guess we have another one? But I thought we always had 12, maybe not. Oyashiro-sama. Nobody really knows what characters to use to write Oyashiro-sama. Knowing this is hard, partly because depending on the time period, he has been called with various titles, with subtle changes to his name, and nobody knows the real one. The only thing all time periods agree on is that the 4 syllables O, Ya, Shi, and Ro are always used. There is a theory stating the shrine, or Yashiro, dedicated to Oyashiro-sama itself became an object of worship, and that people began calling it Oyashiro-sama, or Lord Honorable Shrine, but this doesn't make a bit of sense. I don't know whether this is unrelated, but people say the Furude family, the most respected bloodline in terms of worshipping Oyashiro-sama, actually inherited his blood. To me, the name Oyashiro-sama, ever since I learned what Yashiro means, it just seems almost like a placeholder name, right? Like, it's like not, because it's literally just like calling him the shrine god, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like such a placeholder name to me. That it's like the god has like some kind of true name that we like aren't even using, you know? But, I mean, I don't know. And in the legend, the Furude family passes down. If for 8 generations in a row, the firstborn child is a girl, the 8th daughter will be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. How many are we at? If we go by this legend, the characters used for Oyashiro-sama's name should be O for honorable, Ya for 8, and Shiro for generation. Oh, interesting. These character assignments are simply something I've thought up. There is no way to verify it. If this is true, then Oyashiro-sama would have been named as such under the assumption he would come again. The second coming of an object of worship can be seen in several religions, so this isn't unusual. But a few of these religions call the second coming of their object of worship a day of judgment, or something along those lines, and we must not forget they mean it to be the end of the world. Rika Furude, pampered and loved dearly by the elderly folk in the village. The rumors say she is in the 8th generation in Oyashiro-sama. I do not know the family tree of the Furudes, but at very least I can confirm that for the past 2 generations, the first child has been a girl. Rika Furude watches over Hinamizawa. If the village were to lose her protection, what would happen? Interesting. Would peace between man and demon be lost? That certainly is interesting, right? That really makes you think. Because, like, what we were just talking about earlier, right? This whole, like, weird timeline shit, right? Like, what would it be that causes the timeline to, like, reset, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe that's going too far. I was gonna say, like, what if Rika's death is what triggers the timeline to reset, right? Like, let's say this is somehow true that Rika, because to me, like, Rika being the protector of Hinamizawa, it's like Rika is the catalyst potentially for this weird timeline shit going on, right? That it's like Rika is, I probably not aware of it. I would assume has no, like, let's say this timeline stuff isn't actually in control of anyone, right? That there's no controller of it, right? But if Rika dies, then the timeline like resets, right? Um, and that could be like this grant of protection that Rika has over Hinamizawa, right? Is because her death does result in it like resetting, right? And like this timeline being pieced together with things that go horribly wrong in Hinamizawa, right? The problem with that is obviously like one, did Rika even die in Onikashi? I mean, like we didn't even see Rika and Satoko for a long ass time for the past like few chapters of Onikashi, so who knows? And two, Rika died a while ago. Right, like in Watanagashi, she died several days before, or I guess a day before the timeline reset, right? So it's not like her death instantly resets the timeline, you know what I mean? So, like, that doesn't really make sense, right? Like, but if anyone, I could imagine it being Rika, you know what I mean? Being, like, the important person in that case. And it would make sense why Rika was murdered, right? In this one, I mean, right? Like, why someone would go ritualistically sacrifice Rika if they think that, things are going horribly wrong and they need, But I don't know, but the problem with that is, of course, that brings up the idea that someone would have to be aware of this, that other people would have to know, you know what I mean? But of course, if these research notes are from Takano, and it's Takano saying all of this stuff, and I think it's Takano who could have killed Rika, and it's Takano who's saying all this weird shit about the village losing its protection, then Takano killing Rika kind of, yeah, that kind of makes even more sense, doesn't it? Right? Would it once again create a hellish landscape where man-eating demons run rampant? A gruesome feast of the demons, who suddenly remembered how delicious the weak humans were, who could only cry, scream, and run for their lives. What would it look like? Just imagining it is enough to make my heart pound with excitement. Exactly, right? Because Takano's freaky, right? Takano would think things like this, right? Like, yeah, she would be a lunatic and would ritualistically sacrifice Rika just to see what would happen, right? Like, maybe, right? I really can't imagine it, And what if she's right, What if it actually... Okay, maybe that's going too far. Maybe Eureka has nothing to do with the timeline stuff, and I don't know. Because, like, why would it have to be triggered by someone dying? You know what I mean? Well, no, I guess the reason why I got along that logic was because originally I was thinking, okay, what if it's Keiichi's death? Because Keiichi's death has always coincided with the timeline resetting, right? So then from there, I was like, okay, what if it's not Keiichi? What if it's actually Rika? Because of what we're saying here. But that just doesn't make any sense. Like, because it being Rika doesn't make any sense at all. Because, like, it just can't be. Because, like, she always dies way before the timeline resets. So, it can't be Rika. Okay. I'm glad we got all that figured out. But Takano being the one who killed Rika, that's kind of... makes sense to me. Okay. I guess we have another chapter. So, I guess we aren't finishing this week. I don't know. I mean, do I have time? I don't think I have time. Yeah, no, I don't have time. So, I gotta go in 13 minutes. So, I mean, I don't have time. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish. I mean, it's good that we got here, I guess. I guess we have another chapter. I just thought we were gonna be finished this time. I was all prepared for a 5-hour-long chapter, but I guess not. So, I don't know, I guess we got another one. I hope this one isn't, like, 5 minutes long. I mean, even if it is, we got the all-cast review, too. So, like, it'll be a full video next week. It'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, this was insane. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Awesome. Good. I'm glad everyone's dead. And everything's terrible. And that sucked. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Subscribe, please, if you enjoy my videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Don't spoil me. Surely I have everything figured out now, so it would be impossible for you to spoil me, right? Because I got it all figured out. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one.